Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Internet. My name is Kristen Ryder. I pray we are live on Instagram. I did everything it all told me to do, and we should be live on YouTube and Facebook streaming for you. Welcome to the second episode of Who Are You? Who, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Who are you? Who, and she did me, Oh, I am joined today by a dear friend named Paige DuBois Erwin, joining us from the heart of
Pima,
Texas. Well, no,
Texas. Well,
which
Houston,
Texas?
Houston.
Houston,
Well,
Texas, y'all.
Houston, yeah, Houston.
Houston. I'm not gonna lie, everybody. I gotta
Or
put on
as
my
Rocky
glasses.
says, Houston.
Houston. Okay, so I know my mom's in the house. Thank you, Mom. So we're streaming
Hi,
on Facebook.
Carol.
Most excellent. Mom, this is Paige. Paige, my mom's in the chat. I love it. I'm so excited. Here we are. All right, my girl Tracy, who's also down in Houston, is just now coming in. Let's see.
She's in Austin, right?
She's in Austin. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to communicate with people while being present with you because we're doing a show. And I love you.
With Chardonnay. It's like Kathy Lee Gifford and
I'm not a Chardonnay. I'm having Pinot Grigio. All right. So hopefully everybody's finding us. And my mom is on YouTube. So that's right. Okay. This chat is so awesome because we can see who is chiming in from where, which is so amazing. I love it. So I started this show last week to stream to all the platforms. I know people are busy today. This energy has been giving to so many people all week, and it has not stopped, but it does seem to calm down around happy hour, I've noticed. Have you noticed that, Paige DuBois Erwin?
This is my favorite time of the day. Not just because it's happy hour, but there's kind of a lag in the middle of the day. Mornings are kind of like, let's go. And then around 2 or 3, it becomes a lag. And then, the sun starts kind of settling. It's not so hot, especially here in Texas. And yeah, this is really one of my favorite times of day. This until like when the sun goes down, and it's gorgeous. Hi, Tracy.
Tracy's in the chat. She's going to be doing this show with me sometime in the future. I'm already scheduling and casting this for July. So I've got my guests lined up for the rest of the month. Next week, we will be streaming on this platform with my dear colleague and healer friend, Lindsay Norhoff Fisher. She is actually the artist and painter of the 5 platonic solids for my platonic sound program. So we're going to be talking about that in next week's episode. That is going to be aired around 3:30, 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And I will have more postings and things for that. Just a few housekeeping things. Let's keep it clean in the chat. Cheers.
Oh, Tracy, you better have a glass of wine with you.
Hilarious. So if you need a reading or you need a sound healing, then by all means, travel on over to KristenWriter.com so I can be of spiritual and soulful assistance for you. And of course, I will be doing more lives of this nature every week for the rest of the summer until we all know who we are, which is an exciting opportunity of all of us remembering who we are as our dormant DNA and things are activated. So, my dear friend Paige, I want to thank you first of all, for joining me in these very crazy and mentally exuberant times.
Well said. Yes.
I think that's
Yes.
the most positive because like she and I are backstage, y'all, and we're like figuring out all the technicalities of it. And I'm like, technology is my friend. Technology is my friend. Technology is my friend. I have no idea if we're on Instagram. Tracy, can you go on Instagram and see if
No,
we're in there?
we're on I just saw us on something, but yeah,
Well,
we had this all set up yesterday or 2 days ago or Monday, Tuesday, and I was
Tuesday.
at the studio last night and I was doing some work and I brought my computer to the studio and I get back from my day and I realized my computer is still at the studio. So
Oh yeah.
I have an iPad that was the old studio's iPad that I was like, download, charge, whatever, and here we are because it worked,
We did it.
and we did it. Easy.
And I'll find out when we're done if Instagram did it because I did everything that they said that I should do, if not 12 times. But the K is still up here, so I don't think it's connected. I could be getting shadow banned. Who knows?
Well,
So
you are on Facebook. I know that. I don't know if there's a difference.
yeah, and I can tell that because my mom is in the chat on YouTube and Tracy's on from Facebook, but those have always connected well. Instagram is the fickle one. I said that so
Oh, okay.
nice. I said it nice, but I'll figure out Instagram later because I want to be here with you, who offered to be my first guest for this second episode. And I am so honored and grateful to have you here because we've been dear friends for a very long time. And
Yeah,
I'm
like
so God brought us
like
together. Oh, we should pray. We should pray. Mother, Father, God in heaven, I am all that I am. Oh my gosh, I am blessing our hearts, our consciousness, our groundedness, bringing that unity consciousness in through the core of our toroidal field, grounding to the core of ascending Gaia. Mother, Father, God, I am so grateful for this beautiful soul joining my second episode of Who Are You Today? This powerful woman has helped change, shape, and inspire my life, if not thousands or maybe millions of others. It is my delight to be here with her. God, universe, I request in your honor that our highest good is maintained, seen, respected, held, and loved in the unconditional lovingness of you as we move through this interview and share our wisdom with anyone that looks in on this live or recording. May their hearts and souls be blessed and inspired as mine has with the creation and unification of my friendship with this beautiful woman. I thank you, God. I love you. And so it is. Whew! Okay, now it's real.
you
I
made
love it.
me
I love it.
cry at the beginning. I need tissues. I've got a candle. I've got my lip gloss. I've got my Chardonnay. I may need tissues.
I've got
You
my
reminded me of
pedalite.
my glasses.
We've got our glasses. I have my vortex cup from my kid. I have my Pinot Grigio. Cheers. I've got my feathers in. I've got all my magic, my Anne Margaret ring on, who did Tommy the Who, which you've done. You did. Okay, so we're both musical theater history, y'all. Okay, we this is how we met in New York when we were 19 through our mutual friend Rocky Knoll. Maybe I'll tag him in this video. Maybe.
He's not on
And
Facebook or Instagram. Don't tag his husband. You could tag his
tag
husband, but don't tag.
Vince.
Um,
Okay, I'll
yeah,
tag Vince. Okay. Hey, I was
tag
off
Vince.
social media
Rocky
a
doesn't
while.
do. Rocky doesn't
No,
do any of
he
that.
doesn't.
So, but I'm sure he'd appreciate the shout out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he just got it right there. Vincent, we love you guys. Um, so when we were 19, we were both in New York City, and our past lives was musical theater. She says nothing. So my question to you
Yeah, yes,
is,
I thought was there a question there? Okay, keep going. Your question?
no, there's no question. So I've got you on here because the last 2 years you have assisted me in transforming my body, losing 25 pounds, keeping me out of jail because I was working through such intense feelings in my life, in my living room, and your BodyBarre by Paige like helped shape my body, my consciousness, helped me purge some really heavy feelings as I was going through many court battles and being censored and attacked for speaking my truth, which is turning out to be the truth with those that have eyes to see. And how long, because your studio is down in Houston, right? You just moved
Yes.
new
Well, wait,
studios, right?
yeah, yes. Well, we can go back to the musical theater thing. I mean, I didn't know there was a question, but yes, we met in New York through musical theater, and we all did some amazing. We had some amazing journeys. I was in New York 10 years, Vegas for 10. I moved out to Vegas to do the opening company of Hairspray with the Broadway company, like with the Harvey Firestein and Dick Latessa, but everybody else was kind of new. And Tracy, who's on here, she was in Hairspray on Broadway, so it was like this random. I mean, the Broadway world is so small, and we all work with each other, and it's incestual that way. I mean, there was a time when you did Rocky Horror in Europe.
Yep.
And this story, it's kind of weird, but I was dating my ex-husband who was in Europe doing Smokey Joe's Cafe. I went out to
That's
see him. He
right.
was in Germany. I flew back to New York. I went in for Rocky Horror in Germany and got the role of, help me out.
Columbia. Columbia.
Yes, the tap dancer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Columbia.
Columbia.
I'm like, I've
For
said
other
it 3
reasons.
times, girl. It's
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Columbia.
Sorry.
No,
So
girl, I
guess
had
what?
an hour to prepare to go in for that role once. It was hilarious.
But I ended up turning down the role, and guess what? It wasn't like I had any other offers, and I was, in New York. Like I don't know why I turned it down, other than my then boyfriend, now ex-husband, was coming back from Germany, and when he came back from Germany, I would be going to Germany, and I was like, no, that can't work. But I would have either worked with you or I would have worked with your company, and because we have never worked together, and so that was
and
the
we were
one.
trying. And I had so many callbacks for freaking Smokey Joe's Cafe.
Was it the one in Europe?
I auditioned for a lot of them everywhere. Was it PJ Terravan? Was that who
I don't know.
would cast
I don't know.
those? Anyway, I think I did audition for that one. And Hair was auditioning back then, like all those
Oh, you
European
would have been
tours.
so good for the girl, in Smokey Joe's Cafe. Don't. That's what you said. They all went by their regular names, but anyway, yeah, you would have been good.
Patty.
But
I think it was Patty.
Patty, yes.
Yeah, that's who I got called in for several times
Of
because she's
course,
got
you
that
would have been
voice.
amazing,
Yeah,
Patty. But
yeah.
I ended
So
up
many,
turning
so many close
down
calls.
so many. But I ended up turning that down, and that would have been our only time to maybe work together. I don't know if you were still on the show because there was a lot, the European cast, kind of changed over.
Well, that and
But
then
yes,
they started a second Rocky Horror tour. There were 2 Rocky
probably.
Horror tours for the anniversary that went out, and then that tour didn't fan out. Anyway,
Do we even
forever and
want
a
to
day.
say what year it was? Do we even want to put that out there? What year it was? I
Yeah,
can.
because we look amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna go out there and say it was 98.
97, 98.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so I'm right. It was around there. Okay, that's
yeah,
my timeline is right there.
yeah.
But we never did get to work together. And then, so I was in New York 10 years, Vegas 10 years. and I am from Houston, and we'll get to this because it is Who Are You? How I got back to Houston, because it is a crazy story. Now that I'm 7 years into the studio, it's a crazy story. But Broadway has always been and forever will be, the foundation of me, and obviously so many friendships I have. I mean, I still have, which each show I've done, if you've done, a long-term tour or a Broadway show, there's certain people that stick with you and you stay with them forever. And then there's ones you never see again, and you see them on social media, or you go along, but there's certain people that stick with you. And I still have a lot of friends that are still in the business in New York. I have friends now that are behind the table, which is awesome. I don't know if I could ever live in New York again after my transition and where I am now. And you can't see my view right now, but I live on the bay in Galveston, or off Galveston Bay.
Her house is gorgeous, y'all. I got to go and visit it for the first time a couple weeks ago. God, we had so much fun.
We did. My husband was giving her a lesson on the jet ski, and while he was giving her the lesson, she's like, "I've got it."
I tore out of the bay. Yeah. He and Lola were like, "Oh, that's never happened before." I was like, "Yeah, it's not my first time on a jet ski, y'all. I got this."
Yeah, but no, my life here now is just, I mean, it's settled, and it's, we'll get into my kids and my family and all that. But New York was a great place at the time, but I don't know how people that are my age, our age, even a little younger, that are having families, starting families, how they do the day to day. I mean, a lot of them I know, at least my friends, have had to move out of the city, and some just, thrive, and that's their deal. I remember leaving New York and moving to Vegas, and we bought our first car. I was 29 because I moved to New York when I was 19. You need a car. So we bought our first car, and we had this great apartment. It was like they called it a apartment home or something. And I went to the grocery store, and I got to go grocery shopping and put the groceries in the back of this. It was a small SUV, and drive it home and unpack groceries. And I was like, what is this experience? Where
you're not
pretty
having
much
to
everyone
lug
in
it.
America,
Yeah.
lug it on the subway and walk it up 4 flights, whatever. So, and then when I got to Vegas, that's when I was like, oh, I like this side of life. I mean, it was just, I love the sunshine. New York is very gloomy at times, but New York is a fascinating, exciting, amazing place. And I'm so grateful for the 10, 11 years I had there and the friendships I've made, hence you. I mean, but it was like, okay, good. Done.
Done. And
Done.
scene. Well, and then I finished my Broadway tour with Anne Margaret, the best little whorehouse in Texas, where Tracy and I met.
Yes.
To this day, I will remember turning and her walking in that first rehearsal door. What was it? 989 Broadway? Is that where was it 898 Broadway, 989 Broadway, where we'd put up all the Broadway shows? Anyway, she walked into the rehearsal space, and I turned and I was like, that one, she's gonna be a bestie for life. And
okay, wait, I don't want to interrupt you, but I have quotes on my wall at BodyBarre, and it one of them that I read all the time is, you don't meet people you love, you recognize them. I may be getting it wrong, I may be paraphrasing it wrong, but every person in my life, I remember the moment I met them. If they're still special in my life, I can tell you where we met, whether we even interacted, or when I saw that person. And for you seeing Tracy, that makes perfect sense, because it's like you guys have such a sisterhood, and you don't meet people you love, you recognize them. I'll have to read that, but that's exactly what it is.
Well, and I'm a little bit psychic, so that soul recognition is true. It's real. And I think, in the evolutionary consciousness lifting that we're all experiencing, Hi,
That's Avery.
Avery.
She is one of the yoga instructors at the studio. You met her. She came to the sound app. Yeah. So
Yes.
I just sent the link to the girls. So hi.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Hi, Avery. Thank you so much for joining. Um, so I mean that is such a blessing of the gigs and musical theater. The auditioning process and the business process, not so much. Like it is, I mean, you got to have a tough skin and prepare for a lot of rejection and
And
a lot of synchronistic
yeah,
miracles.
and figuring it out. I will say, yes, I was a terrible auditioner, but given the chance to land the role, the show, I was going to be, if not one of the most like I was going to nail it right then when the curtain went up, kind of thing. And I was very fortunate. Tracy worked with Jack O'Brien and Jerry Mitchell. Jerry Mitchell has done umpteen thousand shows on Broadway. His newest was Betty Boop, but he did Legally Blonde. I think Tracy did Legally Blonde. My ex-husband did that. But anyway, I got in this group with Jack O'Brien and Jerry Mitchell, and I was fortunate enough to kind of just hop from show to show, from like the Full Monty to Hairspray to Dirty Rotten. And that was like the golden gig, right? And then when I decided at late 30s to say, well, I'm changing my path, people say, do you miss it? And I'm like, no, I was blessed to do what I did when I did it. And I was in that bubble of protection of different shows, and actually a little bit of stability, which is not a word we use in musical theater or broad, and
For real.
and I do I miss it? No, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
I think I know that where I was and what I was doing was not going to last for long. I'm glad it happened, and I'm grateful for what I was able to do. And I was very lucky because it's a tough business, and
So tough.
and
And I
yeah.
was grateful to have my gig at Don't Tell Mamas,
Oh
so I
yeah.
was still able to sing and perform while auditioning or while doing this and making great money, because New York City is such a lifestyle.
Well, you know
But
what? That that sorry to interrupt you, but that brings me into something that's kind of a nice interjection into, Kristen, you're saying you were at Don't Tell Mama, which was your hustle job on the side while you're auditioning. Every um, thriving actress or actor had obviously a day job or whatever they were doing. A lot of them you hear like waiters, waitresses, whatever. I couldn't wait tables. You do never want me to be your waitress. I'm a great hostess, and I cook and I can serve you, but I could never be that. I have too much of a temper that I would probably get fired
Oh,
in a
no, girl,
second.
and let me tell you, serving cocktails, I'm excellent at it. I was a great bartender as well, but when I moved to LA, which is around the time you were in Vegas at that point, I believe, I tried to work at this place, what was it called? Michelli's, where you did serve food and sing. No, 3 months,
Yeah,
girl. I was like, "No,
yeah, that
no."
was it.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying is pretty much like we all had to have our other hustle. And when I was going to school at AMDA, um, like I I got a job right away. Even though I was in school, I was like, I'm going to get a job, and I got a job at the very first Equinox in New York City on 76th and Amsterdam, which now Equinox is like boom. It's like this huge global, play. Leo's attacking the cat. You're going to see all my
She's
animals in a
got
minute. They're all here.
she's got a farm at her house, y'all. It's hilarious. So many dogs,
There's like
cats,
four of
adorable.
them. Um,
I love it.
but so I started working at Equinox, and then I got into the fitness industry, and this was the very first one in New York, and the Erico family opened Equinox. I'm not sure if they still own it or part of it, but I was with them from I was in sales, from selling memberships to, well, I think I was front desk, and then I was into sales, and then I went to I helped people find a personal trainer. Like you'd be at a desk and say, I'm looking to do this with my body or what I need. And then we'd assign them a trainer. Then I became a personal trainer. From there, that was like my side hustle gig was a gym. Like I was a trainer, and I don't even go to a gym anymore. I don't even know the last time I've been to a gym. But
Because you're an amazing dancer. Like that was your huge forte. And you have a beautiful voice as well, but your dancing is just like,
well, I think I was a dancer who could sing. I mean, like when I did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, that was probably the best role of my life. And I got to play opposite Tom Hewitt. If anybody knows who Tom Hewitt is, it's like, oh, he's just the most delicious man. He's an
your husband's
amazing
in the
Broadway
house.
icon.
Speaking of, your husband's in the house. Hi, Brian. We love you.
As I say, Tom Hewitt. Well, Tom Hewitt was very much older and very much gay, but I got to kiss him on stage every night, and it was just delicious. I digress. Yeah,
So
I don't even know
what year was Equinox? What year was Equinox?
Okay, so I started at Equinox when I moved to New York. It was 1993.
Oh my gosh. And I moved to the city in 1995. Yeah, doesn't matter. It's hilarious.
Okay. 93 and so from there I started doing other so I worked for Equinox, and then when my very small career started off, like I got my first job out in New York in Key West, which turned out to be an amazing gig. But then, when I started finally landing national tours and European tours, and I did Tommy in Brazil, that was a Brazilian tour. When I come back to New York, I would still do my fitness training, and I worked for Manhattan Plaza. Do you remember Manhattan Plaza? It was on Hell's Kitchen, 44th, 43rd, between 9th and 10th. Those two buildings. So I worked there, but that was my side hustle. Was I was in fitness, but I was definitely a dancer. And but yeah, we were going back to Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. That's the one role that I sang, but it was more charactery. I've played it for my husband. He hears it and he's like, well, you're kind of screaming the whole time.
That's hilarious. I love all that. And then when you were in, because we're about halfway through, and I want to make sure that BodyBarre gets the attention that it deserves.
Past lives.
So past lives stops right there. Well, let's be here now. Be here now. Who are you now?
Okay.
No, I want to hear the transition. So this started when you were working at Equinox. So that seed had already been planted. Now, when you were in Vegas, were you doing personal fitness, or were you?
No. And this is all a journey. I was introduced to barre while I was in Vegas at Las Vegas Barre Institute. They were in Henderson. Not Institute. It was, oh my gosh, I have to remember the name. But funny enough, I was doing yoga. Yoga was my thing. When I was in Vegas, I moved there when I was 7 months pregnant with my son. And I found a yoga studio, and I was doing yoga to get through my pregnancy. My husband at the time, moved there to do a show in Vegas. And, we went together. I thought it would be a better, it was a better life. We loved it. But yoga was my transition. And I fell in love with this tiny little studio that only had like maybe 12 people, 10 people. It was very, very small. And they did a calendar, a Las Vegas yoga calendar. And they put me on the calendar for August, 8 months pregnant, doing Warrior 3. I still have the picture, and my form is terrible. Every time I see it, I'm like, ugh. But yeah, I was doing yoga when I was pregnant with Jack, and then found barre. And
you had him on your birthday.
Yes. So my firstborn, my son, was born on my birthday in Las Vegas, August 30th. And it has been such a cool thing to share my birthday with my son. everyone thought, oh, sharing your birthday with a kid, like that's hard. No, we have loved it. He has loved it. We have celebrated together every year, including last year when I flew out and surprised him. I'm not sure about this year, but I think the hardest thing about our birthdays is my husband has to, and everybody else takes care of Jack and Paige. And, we've done it together for a while. So it's awesome.
I love it. And then when did Houston start saying hello?
Okay. Hello. So my husband's on here. I don't know if he's still watching, but so my husband is
your current husband.
My forever, my love of my life, really. I mean, like it's sometimes it takes a while to find that person. I mean, my ex-husband is an amazing man, and he still is, and he's happily married, and he's still in the business. He's with Moulin Rouge. He's with that show that's touring, but so he's still in the business. God love him. But my husband and I met when he was 8. I was 7. And our parents grew up together. Young? I was 7. He was 8.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like a high school thing.
No,
we reconnected. So that's so
I was
awesome.
7. He was 8, and his dad and my mother went from kindergarten through high school together. So they were in the same friend group. We don't know if they dated. I don't think so, but they were in the same friend group. So I was introduced to Brian because Brian's mom and dad invited us down to their bay house here where I live now. It's on the other side of the water, but and Brian and I met then. We were kids. We don't really, I don't had an impact of that. But then I re-met him in high school. Fast forward, well, he dated my best friend. He dated my best friend in high school all 4 years, and I'm still friends with her, but yes, he dated my best friend in high school. So isn't that funny?
That is so hilarious.
I take off, I go to New York, I go to Vegas, and then he comes out to Vegas and just reaches out to me, and we meet up. And it was like I was saying to you earlier, when you see somebody and that spark. I remember where he was when he walked in. He was at the Golden Nugget, and we met for dinner with some of his work colleagues, and it was just like this spark, and it was instantaneous. We were both taken by it. We both didn't know what to think about it. And then we dated long distance for about 3 years, and then I was able to
a long time.
And then I was able to make the move to Texas with Jack. I mean, his dad, like I said, is a musician. He's on tour, so it wasn't an easy thing to get, bring my son to Texas, but it worked out, and we moved down here, and I helped open a yoga studio in Galveston, and I looked around and I was like, there's no bar studios. There's yoga, there's Pilates, there's this. And this is, I think this is, well, for down here, this is pre-Pure Barre explosion. Now Pure Barre is like going this way because it's a franchise that they are selling, and in my opinion, hasn't worked out for a lot of people. I am not a franchise. We may go there. We're not sure. We're 7 years old now. So I created something, and I just did it literally while I was pregnant with Lola. And I just would write down sequences that I thought made sense and how a workout should flow. It shouldn't be, you do this, you stop. You do this, you stop. You do this, you stop. And it goes back to my musical theater. When I train my girls, every class should have a beginning, middle, and end.
An arc.
And they do. And from taking the classes, it's an experience. Yes, we're moving our bodies, and we're changing our bodies, and we're being stronger and healthier and all the things, but it's definitely, there's a method to it. So I wrote BodyBarre, and I was Lola was in my belly or born, it was around the time she was 1. And I just wanted to train instructors all over the world. I said, I want to go to studios and say, if you want barre in your studio, bring me in.
Is that Farrah or Frank?
This is Farrah Fawcett.
All of her cats are famous people's names. All of her animals. She's got
And
Lady
then look at the
Gaga.
dogs. I don't know if you can see the dogs. They're both there. And then Leo's right there. Okay.
Oh my God, I love it.
So technically, I wanted to train people in this method that I thought made sense. And it took me a year to write the manual, and I got my first, I guess, opportunity to train a studio. And I can't even make this up. I wish it was not, I mean, like, you can, in Maui. So the first studio I brought BodyBarre, and
so wait, I have a question. So had you'd written the program and you were training people, you had not started your own studio as of yet?
no, not
Okay.
even close. This is like 2014. I'd written the
Oh,
program, and a friend of mine who owned the yoga studio in Galveston, she knew of this studio in Maui that she did a yoga training with, and they wanted to bring barre in. So she recommended me. I had just put up a very, very, very small website, and they were like, we're in. So here I go. The manuals haven't even printed yet. And I'm off to Maui to train 12 girls at a Lahaina Pilates studio. And I'm like pinching myself. I'm like, what is happening? You know, I get to Maui, I bring my manual on the beach, and I write in the sand, and, you know, with all this intention about the certification. And it was incredible. And that's how it started. And fast forward, I did some other certifications in and out through there, Houston, Austin, and then I got an opportunity to open the BodyBarre studio inside Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Houston. And the owner of the studio was a friend of mine from Broadway. He did Moving Out, he did Dirty Dancing, and he had bought this studio. Well, I said, I don't want to own a studio. I don't want to. He's like, well, look, I have the space. Just come in, teach your classes. I'm not going to charge you rent. Like, we'll go in 60-40. I'll help set up everything. And I was like, okay. So we do it. And 8 months into it, and I'm in a tiny room with no windows, and it's packed all the time. Packed. And I think we had 2 classes a day. That was it. And he decides after 40 years, well, when he bought it, it was probably about 3. He had to close the studio. Rafa is called Royal Academy of Fine Arts, and I said, "Well, I have all these clients and these people." So I went out and found a brick and mortar and rented it, like not knowing if I could even make it work. I said,
wow,
"Here we go."
risk.
And
Yep.
the intuitive, you know, you say I'm intuitive. I think all women are intuitive, but I listened to a lot of things. I also didn't jump in and get the studio and like build out and get the best of the best. If we could afford it, we bought it. If we couldn't afford it, we held off, and we slowly started to build. And oh God, I could talk about this for 8 hours, but fast forward, we just moved into our 3rd location, not 3rd studio, but 3rd location, where we actually got to build out. We actually have 2 other tenants. One's a salt room and an esthetician. And we still have clients that have been with me since I was in that tiny little room in Rafa. During COVID, we kind of pivoted and changed how we were going to do things, and we started our online. I personally drove to every client's house, dropping off yoga mats, blocks, weights, balls, whatever they needed to get through. And we had a private Facebook group that they could come with us on that journey, which is now turned into our online library that you do.
And this is what I love about, you know, the control mechanisms of COVID, and how humanity has just said, all right, we're going to transform this, and we're going to make the most amazing lemonade cocktail out of the lemons you're trying to sell us. And it's just blown up, you know. And I'm so grateful, because that was when I got to bring, because I mean, we haven't even talked about, the process of a BodyBarre class. And I had taken it in person when I visited you in the summer of 2019. And I
Right.
too had, a yoga background. I'm a singer that moves really well. I got a double. I got a great double, whatever. But when
We
I
used to do
took that
yoga together in LA. Remember Black
in,
Dog?
in yeah, in LA, and I don't know that we did in Vegas. We were kind of busy in Vegas. But after this first class that I took with you, like I just felt an overall body transformation. And because you hit every single muscle group and there's stretching in there. And the arc that you have designed in your classes is so full of flow. It's full of that feminine energy and it's
I
full
think it
of
makes sense.
cake.
Yeah, I think it makes
It's
sense, but and it's a spiritual, it's not just I'm working out, it's a spiritual, it's an experience, you know. Yeah, and I didn't know what I was necessarily writing or doing, but I thought it made sense. And then I've got to take a shout out to April Parker, who I tear up, but like at one point I said, "Hey, we're going to move to the studio. Do you want to do this with me?" And she's like, "I'll follow you wherever." And she is still with me to this day. I'm on the phone with her sometimes 8 times a day. Then we have 3 days off and then we're on like she has been the backbone of the foundation of everything of how BodyBarre Global has started and how our online presence. We have Cassidy who does all of our social media for the studio and April for global and Instagram. And it's mind blowing what these ladies do. Not to mention the instructors. I don't know. I wasn't trained in business. I don't know. I'm a people person, right? And
totally, girl.
these girls have honestly, um, they've made this their why, and it is, and they teach classes, and I've got some who don't teach all the time and they come back and they're like, can you add another class on the schedule for me, because they just miss it. Like, we're such a team together, and every single one of those women at the studio make BodyBarre. It's not just me. I had this idea, I came up with something I didn't know, and it is gone. And that's why we say only up. It's
Only
gone
up.
only up. And we have a big neon sign that the girls gave me for Christmas 2 years ago. And it really is, it's a sisterhood, it's a community. And Kristen, you work out with us online, but how fun was it to come into the studio and see all those people and be with,
It was
it's
so
the
great.
energy is amazing.
Yeah, and it was so wonderful, because that's a big theme in spiritual communities. We're done with the COVID shenanigans and getting to see each other and experience the authentic, that's why I loved live theater. It's that instant energy exchange of being present with those that you love, right? It's so powerful. And
It's so powerful.
able to be in something that I've been watching online for so many years, it's like, oh my gosh, wow. And to hug some of the women that I've
I
been
love you.
watching, they're famous. They're famous to me.
I
And
Sam, sorry to interrupt you, but Sam,
no,
I got to do a shout out for her too. Samantha, we've known each other since our daughters are 11 now, so we've known them since they could barely walk, since so 11 years. And she is my studio director. So if somebody needs a sub, she's just amazing, and she has come into this role and just taking charge. And she just wrote, "You nailed it, Paige. BodyBarre by Paige is my why. I love BodyBarre with all my heart, and I love you." And these girls, like, oh, like,
I mean,
we
the
have a
heart
meeting.
in all of it. It's
Yeah,
so beautiful. Like, and it's a beautiful community, and you're changing people's lives. Especially, it's hard because America is one of the most obese countries. It is the most obese country in the whole
I
wide world.
agree. I agree.
And this work that you are doing and gifting your community, local and over the World Wide Web, is such a gift to have that spiritual experience while working it out. And I'm way out there. I'll do like my grid work with your workouts in my living room and activating the mountains as I'm activating my toroidal field while I'm working out. So it's just such a gift that has shaped my body and my life and my feelings, like helped me through some really traumatic years of grief. And I mean, the gratitude in my heart for this gift that you created. It's changing so many people's lives. And it's not only BodyBarre.
I'm the vessel. Like, it was just something, but
You're the mama.
every single person that is an instructor or behind the scenes, or even my husband, who is just the biggest supporter. He's not loud, but he loves loud, and he gives loud, and he's there for us. We call him Mr. BodyBarre, even though he hasn't been in the studio in a while. But it is a special, unique thing. And my wish is that if anybody that's hearing this or gets to see it later ever wants to take this journey, like, you have got to find your people, because this is not a one-man show, ever, 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 ever. And if you don't find your people, yeah, you've got to find your people, and you've also got to take care of your people. One thing that I know, I've learned, is that I do the certification, and one instructor's not going to do it just like me. So who am I to put my thumb on their head and say, nope, do it like me? So I've got instructors that have changed it up. So we go, okay, we're going to change the name to this, and it's her signature class or whatever it may be, and it's worked out. I love that people want to come to everybody's class, not just mine. I am probably the most craziest, and I'm the oldest. So,
because you're 50 and you can kick and you can stretch, girl. Yes. And I mean, my body, like, oh God, I'm in the best shape of my life.
You really are, Kristen. I mean, I've known you since we were 19, and you were here, what was it, 3 weeks ago? And you came and for the sound bath of the studio, and I'm very proud of you for sticking with what you do with us through your, in your living room, because it's hard. You're not surrounded by people, and that takes, I think, a lot more willpower and structure than just showing up to class. Because I congratulate everyone. I'm like, hey, you know what? You walked in the door. The rest is easy. We're going to sweat. We're going to have fun. We're going to do it. But you walked in the door. And those people at home that do it with us, you've got to find that focus and that space, and put your phone aside, and put your distractions aside, and bring in everything else. So, but you're really good at channeling and focusing, and not many people are like that.
Girl, so. I'm recording things in my closet for an astrology website. I do astrology. I'm doing all sorts of awesome.
I love when we finish our phone calls and you say, all right, I got to go warm up my voice. I got to go in my closet.
Like I'm singing. It used to be for thousands of people live. Now I'm in my closet.
I got to go. I got to let you go. I've got to go warm up my voice to go in my closet.
Okay. With these big bowls. That was the other gift. Like, I was so grateful to be able to use your studio to do an in-person sound healing. And now, that's what the sharing has brought. Like, and now more of my, creation and technology. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this show. I want people to know more about your services and what are I wanted to just touch on what all the techniques of teachings of classes in your studio are there.
Well, everything, that's a good question. People look at the studio and everything says BodyBarre before it. So we have BodyBarre, which is just the regular BodyBarre class. Then we have a BodyBarre Define, and that is a cardio off the bar class. And it's kind of cool because it kind of goes through all the different things we do at the studio, including Pilates and yoga, into like a Shavasana with a lavender towel, right? That's Define. BodyBarre Flow is yoga. Our yoga at the studio, We don't offer it that often. I'd love to offer more yoga, but we really are mainly a barre studio. Flow is yoga, and the BodyBarre mat is our mat Pilates. And we actually are getting ready to launch our new mat Pilates training probably in August. The girls are laughing at me. They're like, "Yeah, it was supposed to be in March, January, but August, like we've got
Yeah, I'm
everything
gonna
filmed."
be 50.
Like, wait, yeah, and then we have BodyBarre Lengthen, which you guys, and we filmed this. It's on our portal. It's on our online library. It's a 45-minute stretch class.
Shut the front door. I don't know
It's
that
a
I've done. I need
stretch
to
class.
check.
It's
So I
45
need
minutes
to.
of just stretching.
That
It's
is
amazing.
delicious.
And then we
I'm gonna put that with my.
have, oh, and then if you see Bliss after BodyBarre Bliss, it just means it's a 45-minute class of whatever it is.
Oh,
Lengthen,
okay.
so yeah, Bliss. And then we do offer fly classes. We call it BodyBarre Fly, and they're aerial classes, but they're not like the trick classes. They're Rainey and Cassidy lead them, and it's more of a yoga-based flow with the silk. So the silk supports you. It actually helps you stretch deeper into the muscle without, in yoga, you can, if you have bad form in yoga, that's, has the most injuries, and it helps support you. So we have that. And it's magical, and it's grown. I mean, and we're going to add more all the time, but
And you have
I'm
a Himalayan salt room.
Oh, yes. Well, when we did the built out, we have Mindy and Brian Thompson. I wanted a salt room, but I didn't know like if I was going to take it on. They own Salt Revival Houston, and it is one of the most magical salt rooms you'll ever be in. I've been to a couple. They're smaller. They're not as the floor is not full of Himalayan sea salt. We sat in there one day. It blows medical grade Himalayan sea salt, and it helps with inflammation, upper respiratory. Kids with asthma are not allowed to go to a salt room because it's considered a pretentious spa deal. At the Salt Revival, they can go in and book a session. And then they also have an oxygen bar connected, and their salt room is literally, follow them on Instagram too. It's Salt Revival Houston, and the entire wall is just salt blocks. The entire floor is made out of Himalayan sea salt. And the sessions are 45 minutes. You can go in there and read, or you can just relax, or you can, take a nap. It's amazing. And Mindy and Brian did such a good job at that. And then we have the Face Space run by Josh, who is just fantastic,
Just
fabulous Josh. And Josh has been an esthetician for many years, had his own little space and moved into ours. And he's just such an amazing addition. We love his energy. We love him being around the studio. And it's just, we all love being there. We all love being together, and we all love doing what we do. And that's very, very hard to come by in this world, for sure.
And I can back you up 100, if not infinity% on that. The familial, the community, and the acceptance and love that is in your studio is palpable and powerful. Now, if people want to follow you or get in touch with your studio, or what do you have online memberships? You have an online library.
Yeah.
Where are you located in Houston?
So the home studio is right next to NASA. Like literally NASA, you could walk to NASA from the studio. I'm not even joking. Like the space shuttle is like to the left. To the left.
Okay,
To the left.
so I think
shuttle is
don't
to the
blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I'm sorry. How dare I sing her?
Listen, girl, I used to sing her
Okay,
her
I'm
songs
sorry.
in
I'm
my
sorry. That's a
cabaret
whole other
shows
conversation.
before I found out who she is. Yeah.
I know.
And God bless. God bless.
So the studio is on NASA in Houston. We're kind of in the neighboring, like our address is Houston, but we kind of are between Clear Lake, League City, Friendswood, Seabrook, Nassau Bay, but Webster, it's all kind of in that pocket. But our address is Houston. We're right next to NASA on NASA Road 1. Our website is just bodybarre.com. But if you ever, there's another website, bodybarreglobal.com. And that is for teacher certifications. You can purchase the teacher certification up there. And we're going to have Matt up there right now. It's just Barre. And then there you could also, I think, jump on the online library. If not, if you go to bodybarre.com, it says join in a class in the studio or live stream. And we put up maybe 2 classes a day, but we have a huge library. So, it doesn't matter if you don't get a new class that day, you have so much to choose from. And that library is very easy to manage and go through it. And all the girls do an amazing job, and we have fun. And and if you're in the area, like in Houston, let us know. And our email is just office@bodybarre.com. If you have any questions, Megan Farley is our office manager, and she's just the sweetest and greatest. And she won't let me write emails back. Well, I say that I won't write emails back because you don't want an email from me, because I write like I talk and you wouldn't understand.
I do too.
I can't write an email. So everyone's like, write me an email. I'm like, can I call you? Because I can't. No.
Is that a voice to text, or can I leave you a voice note in the email?
Yeah.
Totally.
Can you just call me? So you can email office@bodybarre.com, and that's Megan, and she's amazing, and she'll get back to you. But yeah, bodybarre.com and bodybarreglobal.com. Our Facebook is BodyBarre by Paige, and our Instagram is BodyBarre Official. We also have a YouTube channel that we were really going strong for a while, but then there's many reasons. We took down we stopped doing it because people were just kind of taking our content and they were kind of complaining about things. And we're like, you know what? We're giving this to you. So we don't do it as much, but at one point we got the number 2 of the top 20, or number 3, 3 of the top 25 barre workouts to watch online, or to work out with online barre. And that's huge, coming that we're a very small grassroots studio, but online we seem larger than life. And but we're larger than life in our hearts, and we're larger than life than what we do, and we all believe in what we do. And I am grateful for every single person that's walked in the studio and had a change, and for the instructors are incredible. We're all going to Mexico for my 50th in August. All of us. We're closing the studio and going to Mexico. So that's how much I love them. I'm like, y'all, we're going to Mexico, and we're going to Isla Mujeres. It's an island off Cancun, and we're really excited. Those are our way to reach us out. And Kristen, I cannot thank you enough for your support of BodyBarre per se, just in general. But you came a couple weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, and you shared your gift with the studio, and it changed some lives. And there were people there that needed some huge healing. And I mean, you got the emails back. I mean, you heard too. You made a difference at our studio too, and I'm just so grateful. And our friendship is just, it blows my mind how what we've gone through together, and how we're still, it's stood the test of time. It really has. And I'm so happy for this show, and I'm so glad I jumped on last week, and you were like, who's my first guest? And I was like, that's who it is.
You totally, and I was just like, yes, oh my goddess.
I'm never scrolling through social media like that. I was doing something, and I looked, and I was like, oh, she's on, Kristen's on, and then it all heart. So believe in yourself, believe in things. Everything is possible. don't ever limit. Like I tell my children, you can't limit yourself ever, ever, ever to be in a box, and shoot for whatever your heart feels, because we're all built differently. We're all different, and your journey is different than this one's journey, and vice versa, and all over the place. And you give people a platform to be them, and without judgment, because we're all made up very differently. Our moon, our sun, our everything, our makeup is our blood type is differently. So don't get the shot. What?
Oh my gosh. And my gal, Kathy Kalani's in. Hi, Kathy. This is my bestie Paige down in Texas.
Hello,
Oh,
hello, hello.
oh my gosh. And you know what? I got to figure out, I want to get your links in the bio. I put them in the chat for everyone. I want to make sure that
All right,
those are seen and clickable. So we'll
we'll
hang
add those,
out in.
and yeah, we can add those, or I don't know. How do you do it?
I don't know, girl. Listen, I'm doing my own website. I'm doing all my own work by myself because,
You're
like,
doing amazing. Oh wait, the sun's gone down. Should I show a picture of the bay real quick?
oh yeah, yeah.
All right, I
Y'all,
think
her
because
house is
before here,
magical. So much fun. The only thing not
there, can you
magical is,
see?
hello, bae. I sent you some platonic solid healing last week. Is
That
it blue yet?
is the
Is it
Galveston
blue yet?
Bay.
Is it blue
I
yet?
think, yeah, it's a magical place, and it's for sharing. So come see me. If you come see me,
Yeah.
you have to come to take a class, or teach a class, or I don't know,
Be
or cook me
online with a
dinner.
class. And thank you so much for de-virginizing me. Oh, Leo. Hi, Leo. Buddy, how are you? This is the
And he's the
studio.
BodyBarre dog. He goes to the studio. He's looking
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
He's
He's like, I'm really a good dog now.
That's what my husband's joke is. I said, "Where's Leo looking?" And he said, "He's looking here."
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh,
I
I
love
bet
it.
people are tired of us now, but
Oh,
it's been
maybe.
such a treat. And I mean, honestly, we talk all the time, but it was so nice to kind of like have an
Be,
interview and
yeah.
get to talk.
And
I mean,
you
I could honestly talk
express
about it
your
forever, but
wisdom and a powerful
all I can
woman, an amazing healer and changer and powerhouse. And it's so inspiring. And people need to be reminded of that, especially as we watch our old paradigm crumble around us, to keep the inside in good shape so that the outside, which you shape,
yeah. Yeah. And
can
everything
feel that.
we do, I mean, last little plug, I mean, it's non-impact. I have women in their 80s. You can do this. It is an attainable workout for the rest of your life. And I will leave you with this too. Movement heals. So if you're having a bad day, or you feel like you just can't do it, just move. Just get out your mat, get on a towel, do some cat cow stretches, get up and just start moving. Movement heals. Go on a walk. Breathe with your movement, and I promise whatever you're going through will change through movement. I see it every day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank my first guestist, who's the bestest, Paige. You are
Thank you.
such a beautiful soul. I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with me, to share your magic of who are
What?
you?
Who,
Who?
who,
Who? I'm going to work on an intro graphic.
are you? Yeah, we gotta work. Who,
This is the
who,
first one.
who,
This is
who,
why all my musical theater people have to come on first. Yeah, no.
So I was
All
starting.
right, Facebook. All right, YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share this with anyone you would like to inspire. And also go visit Paige at bodybarre.com for your membership online, or go check her out next to NASA in Houston. Girl, I love you. Stay backstage. We're going to keep on talking because we're good at
Oh
it.
my gosh. Yes, we're going to keep on talking. I wish you could
We
all
were
join
gonna
us, but
listen. We've got more talks, folks. All right. Thank you so much, y'all, for taking
guys,
time.
thank you
Please
guys so
like and
much. Thank
subscribe.
you.
Do all the things. Let's come together, humanity. I love you. Bye.